Okay. Where's our IT man? Is he getting ready to turn on
Yep, he's
the
doing
lights, camera, and the action?
It's coming right now.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Here we are.
Wanted to
Fix that camera right there. There we go. Anthony? Can you
How
hear
we
us
doing?
okay? Good. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals. Today's date is September 12th, 2024, and we have three matters on our agenda tonight. The first matter is petition, well, it's a review of a decision 5046 N-Star Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy, 484 Willow Street, West Yarmouth, Mass. Are they here? Come on up to the table right here. The property is in a B3 zoning district, APD and road. We're here for a one-year review per condition number 4 of decision 5046 dated September 14th, 2023, to ensure compliance with conditions related to fencing, buffer zone, and new plantings. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Could you identify yourselves for the record, please?
I'm Jason St. Martin, Manager Facilities for Eversource.
I'm Isaac Hodgins, civil engineer with Shive Hattery.
Okay, all right, we're here to discuss the compliance with the conditions. Would you like to tell us whether you are in compliance or whether you're not?
I would say we are. I did furnish a bunch of materials to Dolores that shows photos, shows some as-built plans. So, yeah, vegetation's coming in nicely. I know the screening in the 8-foot fence was installed and is still up. Yeah, the buffer that was adjusted as well, that had been maintained, so I think we're in a good spot.
Okay, okay. I've gone by it a couple of times, looks very nice, you did a nice job over there, and the plantings are coming in very well.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna go to the board, see if we have any questions. Dick, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
No, I've been by it several times too, and it looks very nice. Are you pleased with it? Were there conditions that you didn't like that you did because you had a decision, or did you do pretty much what you wanted to do anyway?
Yeah, I think the plantings are nice, they're kind of low maintenance, so, no, I think it looks great over there.
Yeah,
We're not using it much, which is a good thing, because you'd have 100 line trucks there at one time, and it means we're not having these major storms, so I think we've only mobilized there twice, but haven't had many crews, kind of storm
Well,
speed it
hopefully
up.
the lot will last longer than the
That's
good
right.
weather, but for your sake, anyway. There's a redoing of the new parking lot, or one closest to the building, closer to the building. Are you going to continue that type of planting and fencing on that lot that they're working on now, or what?
Right now, no, that lot is specifically just being done to repave pavement that has been degraded. We are looking at that facility as a major renovation, and I would think that we would, once that major renovation takes place, and we're in the very early planning stages of that project, that we would continue those plantings
Okay.
further down.
I was thinking for continuity, it might
Yeah.
be a good idea.
Yeah, the service center sort of sticks out. It's sort of plain
Yep.
now, and the new plantings that we've done, looks much nicer than
Yeah, it does.
what we have at the office
It really
building.
does. No, I think you did a good job. Thank you.
Jay, do you have any questions?
I was going to ask the same thing. I said, it looks so nice, I was hoping you'd extend it all the way across. But no, it does look like you did a nice job. And you do have the irrigation systems are there, because the plants look good, but I just wanted to make sure the irrigation in the front is all
It is. We actually extended it a little further than what was originally proposed, because
corner.
we do have monthly inspections done by a third party, just making sure, things are coming in well, so we actually extended the irrigation some.
Okay, good. But no, it looked fine. It looked good. Thank you.
Okay. I see there's 4 conditions, that we should have put one more condition in there when we originally.
Too late.
Well, that there would be preference to Yarmouth residents to get their electricity turned on, since we're the host staging area. But we hope you'll consider that when the
Power goes out, we get
when the
first.
power goes out, we hope you'll consider us first.
You bet.
Okay. Well, a representation's been made by the petitioner. I have looked at the property. They do seem to be in compliance.
Anthony?
Oh, Anthony, I'm sorry. Did you have any questions for the petitioner?
No, no questions. I drive by it daily. I'm right around the corner, so I appreciate it.
Okay. You've had a chance to take a look at it, and you're satisfied as well?
I am.
Okay, all right.
I'd be happy to make a motion to, I guess, what do we just, make a motion to what, approve?
Well, it's a one-year review, but I think we could make a motion that we find that they are in compliance with the conditions as represented by the petitioner.
I'd like to make a motion, basically that motion.
Okay? We have a second to that motion?
Second to that motion.
Second.
Brilliantly stated motion.
Do we have any comment on that? Anthony, any comments?
No. No.
Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much for coming back, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Take care. Have a nice night. Okay, let me just get this in order. I'm gonna put that right over there. Next matter on our agenda is petition 5127, CRC Communications LLC, doing business as GoNet Speed. Property location is 980 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. It's in a B2 zoning district, and the applicant seeks a special permit per 202.5 for an F7 use to install a fiber optic communications equipment in an existing storage shed. Good evening.
Hi,
Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
my name is Terry Turner, and I work for GoNet Speed.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about your petition, please?
How far down would you like me to drill?
You don't have to go that far. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
Yeah.
GoNet Speed, sometimes boards don't want it all, and sometimes they do want it.
We'll take the shortened version.
Okay. GoNet Speed is intending to build a fiber optic high-speed internet network on Cape Cod. As part of that, the fiber needs what is called an OLT, which is an optical light termination cabinet. It's sort of like if you think of the old days with the telephone companies, they had the central offices, which are those brick buildings, and all the switches were in there. Or this is just, it looks like a rack in a computer IT room. And it just switches all the fibers to route them where they need to go. So we're proposing to put one of those in to an existing building at 980 Route 28. In the back of it, in there will be 2 racks. Did I give you a picture of what the racks look
I don't
like?
think so.
No, I don't think so.
The Site plan.
I may have erred.
No, I didn't get it.
Permission to approach.
Ah,
Sure.
That's what they look like.
You mind if we keep this for our record?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. There you
how
go.
big is
No,
that?
that's-
How big is that? Is that like 6 feet tall and
But pretty much,
4 feet wide?
2 inches. It's the old computer racks.
What's that?
They're about,
It's like 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide?
Yeah, it's, about my height, 5 to 6 feet tall.
usually 7, something like that.
Okay.
So this is a whole new company. This is not an expansion of existing,
Oh, no, it's an expansion into this market.
but you've not been in this market at all?
No,
No.
no.
So we might expect some competition among the suppliers of
That
service?
remains to be seen. I don't know if others are coming into the market, if Fidium or, others are coming in here. I don't know that.
I don't know of any fiber optics companies on the Cape, do we? Except Open Cape? Is Open Cape a fiber optic?
If there were established providers here, it's likely we might not come. It may not be lucrative enough to do it because the population isn't that dense. But right now, what we know is it works.
And would you, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Would it be Cape-wide, or would it be concentrated in the Middle Cape area, or what?
Primarily in the beginning, we have to go where the density is. And the density is usually nearer the residential areas, like that's why Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich,
Okay.
Barnstable, Hyannis area will go in the dense areas. At some point when we fill out our needs, let's say, pick the low-hanging fruit,
Yeah,
then we can expand out.
okay.
And actually, we're thinking of, we have Provincetown on the radar. I don't know if we're going to go there yet.
Long way out.
And in that, with that rack that you see, there'll be some batteries for an uninterrupted power supply for a short period of time. But outside, we would like to place a generator, like a 12 or 14 kW Kohler generator we usually use, like a house generator.
Powered by?
Our plan is to power with the natural gas. There's a meter right there at the,
There is,
at
okay,
the
good.
taffy stand.
Good.
We're not 100% positive there's enough capacity there to service us and the taffy stand in the, the months that they're operating. We think there is. In the winter, there should be plenty, because
They're closed.
they're closed, and the generator is only when the power goes out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how often the power goes out around here.
We don't either. You should have asked the people before you.
I've asked Eversource a lot of questions in the past. And it powers up like once a week for 15 or 20 minutes for testing, just to make sure it's running.
Oh, it's once a week you'd do it?
Once we test it for like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
We would also, because it's inside, we would also place a small, heat pump on the building, just to keep it cool in the summer months. In the winter, we probably won't have to run it, but that will be electrically run.
You
If the
wouldn't have
gas,
to, you wouldn't have to have heat in the winter?
no,
Not really worried about cold, just worried about
Really?
yeah,
generates heat.
It generates its own heat.
Well,
Yeah.
it generates heat, so that's why you don't have to worry as much about it.
it won't freeze up.
Okay.
But get back to your question about the natural gas. That's our plan. If it turns out we can't, we would have a propane tank on the side of the building, or whatever fits the codes. It has to be 10 feet away from the generator, or, an ignition source. So that would be our backup. As far as traffic generation, once it's put in place, they'll just come for routine maintenance, or if there's a problem with it. I mean, there's no people there.
Now, I believe the Taffy Company built that building, 10 or 12 years ago, or something like that? They came before us, I believe, for the,
And how long ago did you build it?
okay.
2012. Yeah.
And there's no longer any mixed use. Then you don't need the storage anymore? They don't need the storage anymore?
He does store things in there. We're gonna divide the building.
Okay.
We're taking, 10 by 14, Dan? Yeah. 10 by 14. We're taking the back half, we're putting up a demising wall, a separate door,
Okay.
and so we're dividing it.
So he's not losing all of his storage capacity, just half of it? Or
A portion of it. He's using a portion.
That's all I have.
Anthony, any questions?
No, I don't. I mean, just as a general principle matter, I did some research on the company, and I did some research on what we need here on the Cape. So it's a wonderful service. I'm happy to have them if they want to explore the opportunities here. Great to have them. So within the scope of what the ZBA is, our review is, I think it's a reasonable request. So I'm happy to discuss it with the board, but thank you for the presentation, and hopefully welcome you to our community.
As long as you're not building a 200-foot tower, you're all right.
I've done that in the past. I know what that's like. I know what these meetings are like when I'm doing that. There's usually a full room behind me.
Sometimes there is.
I had a couple questions. So is this station gonna be something that's a central station for the Cape, or is this just gonna be for the Yarmouth area?
Right now, it's just for the Yarmouth area. Matter of fact, I'm looking for another site in Barnstable.
So your goal would be to have one of these in each town?
Well,
Or
we'd
so
like,
thereabouts.
we'd like to consolidate as much as we can, but it has to do with, we'll call it the backhaul, is how we get from A to B.
Exactly. That's what
How do we get from here to Barnstable, and how do we get from wherever back to the world?
And that's what I'm trying to get at, is do you have a centralized location right now that's gonna bring it in from off the Cape?
They are negotiating with a couple of existing fiber providers, you know, what they call dark fiber, excess capacity.
Okay. So this is really more like a substation for Yarmouth, so to speak.
Yes, yeah, it's like an integrated unit for Yarmouth to use. It will get it to the world.
I don't have any other questions.
Am I correct that neither Verizon nor Comcast has fiber optic systems?
No, they do.
Comcast has fiber,
Cape.
I don't know where they have it here. I'm a real estate person, so I don't know.
Oh, my, but that's all right.
I don't know the network design, but to my knowledge, I mean, is Fidium out here?
They have to have it someplace on the Cape, I would think. They have a dark fiber main cable.
I don't know. I've been told over the years that the fiber hasn't been here because they didn't want to go the last mile to go to the individual
Fiber to
houses.
the house, yes.
Fiber
but the
optics.
main,
Fiber to the home, yeah.
the main fiber links, I would think, are here. But
And-
fiber to the house, I don't think so.
And that's what Go Net Speed is. We're a last mile.
Final mile.
We're a last mile provider. As a matter of fact, this project is called FTH, Fiber to the Home. FTTH.
Is this done by wireless? Is that how you hook into a home?
Oh, they'll bring a fiber optic cable in.
Two tin cans.
Like Cablevision?
Yeah. Yeah, just,
None of you have ever had fiber optic for your home internet service?
I have,
You have?
yeah, in another location.
It's so much better. getting
Quicker,
some- I'm unfortunate, I just moved to a place where I can't get it, and cable fiber doesn't work very well for me.
and if you're used to it, you think you're back in the dark ages with dial-up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, is there any noise that this emanates?
Just the generator when it's running, and the generator, I gave you the cut sheet, I believe. It
Not that
runs,
concerned about the generator. I'm familiar with generators. That's an emergency situation. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just saying, there's no humming noises that are gonna occur on a daily basis.
not outside the building, no.
Okay. So in terms of the gas line, you're gonna tap off the saltwater taffy right now?
That's our plan, is to tap off their meter, bring it over, and feed the generator with that.
If you needed to go other than that, a propane, is that you planning on an above-ground tank?
Yes. We generally put in a 120.
I think I'd like to see a below-ground line run in there, if you're gonna need another line.
Right from
A
the
below ground line for
You
the,
run one right off 28, a gas line. Get the gas company over and hook a gas line.
we've talked to the gas company, it's very expensive to do, and it takes a long time to do it.
Well, I run gas lines to houses that I build. Why is it tough to run that in there?
Mass DOT.
Well, you're gonna have to come back and see us if you need a propane tank. Because I need to see what it's gonna look like, how big it's gonna be, where it's gonna be sited. You agree to do that?
It's, obviously, if we have to do it, we will. Yeah, it would be a 120 gallon, that was just what we've done with all of our other, almost all of our sites are run with propane.
How big is a 120 tank?
It's the one that's about this tall and about this big around.
Yeah. That's not a big deal.
They put it in the back.
How far is it gotta be away from the building?
Doesn't have to be very far from the building. It can be right up next to it. It can be right up next to it. I have propane tanks right next to my house. In fact, I just had one put in last week. It's right up against the house. It has to be 10 feet from an ignition source.
So if the furnace were on the other side of that wall, you couldn't have it there, next to the wall, on the other side of the wall. If you don't have a furnace in your building, but if there was a furnace and an outside wall of a building, you couldn't have the propane tank on the other side of the wall, on the exterior.
Yeah, you can.
You can put that
You
in.
said 10 feet.
10 feet from the ignition
They're gonna
source.
put that on the backside.
Ignition, so any ignition source, or just,
Like a generator, anything that would, kicks on, like. I mean, you can have it next to an electric meter, even though that's not an,
Is the generator currently gonna be placed on the back side of the shed?
yes.
So you couldn't put the tank there either?
No, our thought was to put the tank as you're facing the building, the left-hand side near the back. Where you've got the
closer to the
trees
pond.
there in the woods, and it wouldn't be where the public would see it.
You're talking next to, on the CVS side, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of close to 28 there, so I'm not quite sure. Could we fence that in?
We would put bollards around it. If it needs to be fenced, we can fence it.
How close is the building to the property line right now? No?
Ooh. It's pretty close.
Trying to remember.
A tank has to be 10 feet from a property line.
That's part of the reason why I'm asking.
Well, it looks like that building's 8 feet
So you
on
couldn't-
the close side here.
10.2 at the furthest.
Yeah,
Is that what they put?
yeah.
Yep.
So you
Couldn't go on that
couldn't
side.
go on that side.
It says 10-2.
Yeah.
That's the furthest point.
I tell you what, I think the best thing to do is to, at least from my perspective, why don't you try tapping off his line? I have a feeling that's gonna work for you. Have you already discovered whether that's gonna work for you?
What the generator company has told us, there's a 3/4 inch existing line there, that, that will work, provided there's less than 100 feet of run. And.
You got less than that.
What's that? Yes, it would be, and each 90-degree turn counts as 6 or 8 feet, something like that. So it's about a 35-foot run. It should work.
Right.
Well, if it doesn't work, I think we should put a condition in here that you're gonna have to come back with a plan and show us where that's gonna be,
Okay,
okay?
that's
I
acceptable.
think we have an aesthetic question here. And it doesn't look like we could just fence it in on the side, and I think it's gonna be a little bit difficult where you're gonna put that generator, and I don't want the generator anywhere but in the back of it either.
What about if the heat pump was on the side, and that, no, we still couldn't have the propane tank there?
You know, you're right up against the lot line here.
Yeah.
You sound like you're doubtful that the existing line's gonna work.
No, I'm not doubtful, I just don't know for sure.
So okay, so you haven't had an engineer look at this?
We have had the generator company look at it, that he said the 3/4 would work.
Let me ask you this question. If you're the owner of the building? Yeah. How much gas do you use?
Almost none.
What do you use gas for?
Just the water heater, and that's only June to now, we're pretty much done.
Water
And
heater.
when we cook in the morning
Problem.
from,
Yeah.
well, here's the deal, the power is out, we aren't using it.
Right.
How's that?
Nothing's
Nothing's getting done if there's no power.
I'm not quite sure where the conflict would be between you and you, as far as drawing on the
I
gas.
absolutely think there's zero problem. Put it this way, it was a $50 bill, our busiest month for gas. Who pays $50 for gas? Nobody. So we don't use any. It's only when the burner's going, when we're cooking one batch taffy at a time.
I mean, what I look at is, what's a worst-case scenario? If it doesn't work, what do? We have that facility there if it doesn't work. And propane is something we've used in other markets. We obviously would rather use the natural gas. It's a much cleaner, easier way to go, if we can tap off his.
makes sense?
Just put the condition in, I think that's.
Well, if you can use his, that's fine. Okay, if you want to put a propane tank in, you got to come back and see us.
Could I ask one more question
Sure.
that's not related to the building so much as it is the other building? Is there an encroachment on the abutting property? It's shown on the plan that a corner of the other building is over the existing property line.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the building behind?
That's the Taffy building.
That's the Taffy Building.
Don't you own that property?
I don't.
Dan,
That's why I asked the
We own
question.
all that stuff,
he owns all that.
You own that property?
everything, that whole 3 acres that's there to Long
Okay,
Pond.
all right, so you're not encroaching, that corner of the building is not encroaching on an abutter?
That was there for all before everybody here was born.
I was
so.
gonna say that it may have been there before the property line was
But it used
established.
to be one whole lot,
Yes,
but a bunch of separate little non-conforming lots,
okay.
so.
Yeah.
So you're aware of that encroachment on your property? Okay, thank you.
Make them chop the corner off.
Yeah, 10 feet back.
By the corner?
Yeah. I'll give you an easement, we'll cut that out. Does anyone have any other questions? Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't.
Is there anyone in our audience that wishes to speak in favor of this petition? Seeing none, is there anyone in our audience that wishes to speak in opposition to this petition? Seeing none, do we have anybody online regarding this one?
No, Mr. Chairman.
All right, if there's nothing else, then we're gonna close the petition to the public, and we'll open it up for board discussion, or is anybody prepared to make a motion?
I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the use with the condition that they have to come back to us if they need to put in a propane solution.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
And second that.
Okay.
I would note that the application as written does not have a propane tank on it. It's not there. This is something that came up when we were kind of concerned about if there was enough capacity. And that's why I talked to Mark about if I should amend this, and he said no, because it's,
Well, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna approve it, okay, as presented, with a representation that you're going to power your generator with the existing gas lines coming from Saltwater Taffy. If that doesn't work, we'll put language in there, and you need a propane tank to power that generator, then you must come back to this board with a plan that shows where it's gonna be, and I would suggest to show that it's housed somehow. You are tight over there on that sideline, so I'm not quite sure how easy that's gonna be. And, if you think it's gonna be a problem, which, I don't know, I personally, I don't, okay, because when you need it, he's not gonna be open anyway.
most of the power outages are going to be in very bad weather. And
Very
he's
bad.
not going to be there.
Yeah, it'll be a snowstorm
Well,
or,
even for the middle of summer, we can't do anything.
Right.
We're closed.
exactly.
Even if you made all the taffy, you wouldn't be able to sell it.
I couldn't wrap it, I couldn't do anything with it, so I'd be sitting there with fingers, well, everything wouldn't be working anyway, so.
Okay,
The way, I would request that the board, the way they word it, is that natural gas, whether it's from his or we run a new line across 28, you know, if we elected to do that, if propane becomes an issue,
Just say powered by natural gas.
Yeah, powered by natural gas, any other fuel.
well, we'll allow a generator that's powered by natural gas, but not above ground.
Propane. No, natural gas is underground.
Well, I'm just saying that it's represented that we're gonna put it in the decision that you're going to have a line that's gonna run from, that you're gonna tap off his line, that's how you're getting
Or
it.
come in directly from 28.
Or if you wanna come in directly
Right.
from 28, you can
Yes.
do that.
yes, that's what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah. We'll
For
put
natural
that in.
gas, it's either source.
Either source, that's fine. We're just not allowing an above-ground propane tank to be installed without further hearing on the matter.
Understood.
Okay.
Right, I'd like to modify my motion to be that.
Okay, well, we'll make that work, right? Okay.
Dolores is the magician that'll make it happen.
Thank you, Dolores.
You're welcome, Jay.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Jay, seconded by Anthony and Dick, whoever wants to flip the coin,
Doesn't matter.
to approve the petition as requested with the condition that
It's a natural gas.
that if the generator requires a propane tank above ground to be powered, that the petitioner must return to the board. with a plan to show us where the propane tank will be
And how we plan to screen it.
and how we plan to screen it, and then we'll address it from there.
Small
Okay.
stuff.
Any further comment on this? I do
None
think
from me.
Any further comments on this, Anthony?
No, none for me.
Anyone else? All I would say is, I do think the petitioner has met the criteria of the bylaw, that I don't think you're gonna be substantially more non-conforming to the neighborhood, nor do I think you're gonna create any undue nuisance hazard or congestion by doing what you wanna do at that location. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that carries unanimously. Now, after the decision is written, it will be filed with the town clerk.
Okay,
Once that happens, a 20-day appeal period starts. After the 20-day appeal period ends, you can see Dolores. She'll give you the special permit. You must take that to the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds and record it,
oh, okay.
and then bring a copy back for our records. Just drop one off.
Does Barnstable do the recording in the county, or is it done in the town?
In the
County.
In the
County.
Just bring it
Registry
right
of
up.
Deeds.
As a town, it's not the,
Registry of Deeds building on Route 6A in Barnstable Village.
okay.
That's where you take it.
Yeah, they do it for the whole county.
Massachusetts is a little confusing for me with how you record deeds.
Yeah, we get
Particularly when the town's the same name as the county, and
Yeah.
the village is the same name as the county.
And then you have two types, you have the book and page, then you have what, the plan book, is it called? Recording?
They'll take care of all that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again.
Good luck with the project.
Hopefully.
No towers.
No towers. How's the cell service here?
Well, we don't want to go
Improved.
there. We're working on it. Thank you. Bye now. Okay. Our last petition is petition number 5128, 296 Newton Street LLC, property location at 68 Horse Pond Road, West Yarmouth. It's in an R40 zoning district, APP, in Zone 2. The applicant seeks a special permit per Section 407 to create a 700-square-foot accessory apartment. Are you here on that petition?
68?
Yes.
68?
Yes. The owners are asking for a login password, they couldn't log in. But I'm here to do whatever you guys need to.
All right, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
Can we,
I don't know if we have her email address, so that
I
could,
mean, if they don't need to be present, that's why I'm here for, they live in Boston, so.
in Boston? Oh, I'm glad you know. Okay.
okay, well, and who are you, sir?
I'm Alec DePaula, nice to meet you.
And you, what capacity are you here today? Are you an owner of the property?
I'm not the owner, I am a contractor and I help them out on the Cape with their properties.
Do you have their consent to represent them here tonight?
I have filed the application with Mrs. Dolores in the town.
Well, that doesn't actually give, just because you file an application doesn't give you authority to represent them. Not that I don't believe you.
I understand,
Are they available by telephone?
yes.
Why don't you give them a call, have them identify themselves through that microphone right there? And just so you can speak on their behalf, and they may want to stay on there for some questions. Can we do that? We can do it that way, can't
Hi,
we?
Michelle. How you doing? You need just to authorize me to talk for you here. Or you can be on the speakerphone if you like. All right. Okay. I can have
We
her on the
have her-
speaker.
What's that?
We have her email address in the application if we want to send her the Zoom link so she can sign on.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Is that okay?
We do?
Michelle,
Sure.
Michelle, it's Michelle.
Michelle at Gardini Law.
GardiniLaw.com.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
1L.
Do you want me to do it, Dolores?
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
How does he do that from where he is? How does he do
He's
that?
got the login too.
Oh, he's got the login?
Think so. 'Cause he's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, can he send her an invitation from his spot? I didn't know that.
No, I think he's gonna email her. I sent him, he just has to forward the email I sent him.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I thought there was something I thought it was a little,
Oh,
Something you didn't have, huh?
No, nope.
Oh, I'm one of those learn something new every day deals.
Old-fashioned email, yeah.
Just put a stamp on the upper corner.
They're gonna send the link to my email, Alec, correct?
Correct, yep. I think they're doing it right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, let me know if you received it.
I'm on my email right now. Nothing yet. Just to clarify, it's Michelle with one L. Some people put in two. I don't know if that. Let me check my junk.
Did you get that, Anthony? Michelle with one L?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Is it Gardini? Is it
And your photo comes up when I send it, so I think I probably emailed you before somewhere in this world.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, that's. Yep. Maybe it's just on its way through now. Let me. Oh, got it. Here we go. Let's see. I will be on right now. Alec, I'm going to hang up with you and log on to Zoom, okay?
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you guys?
Good. Could you turn your video on for us, please?
Yes, I can. Let me figure out why it's not on. That's odd.
There's an
Lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, there's an icon. Usually.
Yeah. I know, I'm not a stranger to Zoom, but, this is not giving me an option for it. Let me see if I. Guys, it's really, I don't know if it's a setting on the Zoom link that you sent. There is no video option whatsoever on this.
Okay. Well, all right.
I can join as a I can join as a panelist. Is that what I need to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
There you go.
Hi. How you doing?
And I'm unmuted now. I got
Okay.
this. Okay, I've never done the panelist side of it. How are you guys?
Good. Could you identify yourself for the record, please?
I'm Michelle Gardini, 68 Horse Pond Road.
Okay. And what is your home address?
I have multiple. So which one do you want? We
How
have
about
multiple
your
houses.
How about your primary residence? What is your address?
So I can give you one in Boston. We bounce around a lot. 32 Everett Avenue
Okay.
in Winchester. That's one.
That's all we need, is just one.
Okay. Yeah,
Is
that's
that
one
where
that you can.
Is that where you receive your mail?
296 Newton Street. Let me give you that. That's a business address. That's probably a better place to reach me.
We're
296.
looking for your
Residence.
home residence, not your business address.
Okay, you can send to 32 Everett Ave. If there's any urgent contact though that you're sending me, I would email or send it to the business address.
32 Everett Ave, and that is where?
Uh-huh.
Winchester.
Winchester 01890.
Okay. All right, go ahead and tell us about your petition.
Okay, so we bought this property a couple of years back. Apparently at the time when we bought it, we had no idea, but there was a gas stove already hooked up in the in-law apartment downstairs, or accessory apartment, though it wasn't ever legally approved for an accessory apartment. I believe the guy we bought it from was renting it out. So the building department contacted me, let me know I needed to apply for a special permit. My dad is actually living there. He's here with me as well, if you want to meet him. He's actually living there full time. So they gave us two options. They said you can take it out, take the stove out completely, or you can apply for this special permit. So I've been working with the building department to do that
Okay.
for him. So this is his only way of living, really. I mean, he has to live there. He doesn't have the means to support himself in any other way, so we're financially handling that.
You own the building?
We own the property, yeah.
Why can't he move upstairs?
He's handicapped,
So he can
So
get
he has a
into a
really
basement,
hard
but he
time.
can't get on the first floor?
It's a walkout basement.
yeah, so it's a walk-up basement that you walk around, and the driveway, if you've seen it, gradually slopes down, and he's able to get in, versus upstairs, we have, it's tricky. The front entrance to get in, the house is a maze of stairs, basically. It's very uneven. I don't know, I mean, I can show you guys the inside with pictures, but there's stairs everywhere upstairs, and it's my dad, say hi. Hello. Mark Wallen. He's the one that's living down there, but he's handicapped, so he has a very difficult time walking.
I'm unbalanced.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a toe
see-
cut up.
I have a picture of the house right in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
So if you
sure
can-
what the problem is to get in the front door.
There are steps on the front to get in,
There's
about 6
steps on the front,
And
yep,
once
and
you
there's no
walk in, there's
railing.
like 2 more steps down.
Okay,
Yeah.
why couldn't you just install a ramp and some railings?
I mean, I suppose I could, but I couldn't really level the rest of the house, right, without completely gutting it and redoing it. So there's steps. If you go inside the kitchen, there's 2 steps to get down when you walk in the front door. It's one lower level, and then there's 2 steps to get up to get to any bedroom. So it's just not an ideal situation for him.
I've
left
got
front.
I've got a violation notice here dated July 14th, 2022. I have one here for October 4th, 2023. And I have a notice of pending court action dated July 24th, 2024. Why is
Right.
it taking you 2 years to come in here?
So I've actually been in contact with the building department most of that time. Tim Sears, and we've talked back and forth about this. We were deciding if we were going to, what we were going to do, if we were going to pull out the stove entirely, or if we were going to do, apply for this special permit. I've been working with Alec, my contractor, who's there this evening, live and in person, has also been working with them to figure out the best approach for this. I know there's new bylaws that are going into effect in February as well, that will make this process easier, but we were just kind of trying to figure out if we were gonna remodel the whole place or what we were gonna do. And that's why, it's, not that it's an excuse, but I have been in contact with the building department the whole time.
Well, you're here tonight for a special permit, which has nothing about ripping out gas stoves. We don't deal with that. That would be between you and the building department. Why don't you tell us how you qualify for a special permit under section 403, or 407, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I think the apartment itself qualifies. It's under 700 square foot. He's directly related to me. I'm
Not a family
owner,
record.
well,
She hasn't ever read the
Sorry?
bylaw.
Well, did you read number 1?
I
Did you read the bylaw?
Did you read the bylaw?
I did.
Well, that does nothing to do with family-related apartments anymore.
Right, right. I know yeah, that's changing or it changed, but,
We know that.
okay.
The first criteria is that it must be owner occupied, must be your primary dwelling. And
Right, so-
you just told us that you live in Winchester, that's your primary dwelling, so we can stop at number 1.
Well, so that's where, Tom Sears, I've been talking to the building department, there's some clarification. We also live there. We're there half the year.
Is that your
We're-
primary residence or not?
Well, I don't, so this is what, there's the clarification. What do you constitute as a primary residence?
Your
I
mailing
have
address and
5
your voting address, and you gave us your mailing address as Winchester. So you
I gave
automatically
you-
disqualify yourself.
So so how do you guys handle people that have multiple addresses and live at multiple addresses?
The
all year?
bylaw was specifically designed to have only including properties where the main part of the house was primary residence for the owner of the property.
Okay,
After 2 years of investigation, the planning board decided that that was going to be their primary criterion in allowing accessory apartments. That it be a primary residence for the owner of the property, and that the lease would be a year-round lease for the tenant of the property.
okay.
So
So my
I
question
think-
is,
If these are revelations, you haven't read the bylaw.
they're not revelations. I've actually called the clerk's office many times to get clarifications on what you guys consider a primary residence, because I have a unique situation that we own multiple, and we
Aren't you
split
lucky?
our time between multiple residents. What do
Aren't you
you,
lucky? But the bylaw is specific that this be your primary residence, where you
so
vote
what do
from.
you?
Where do you vote?
So I changed I don't vote. So I changed my voting address to Yarmouth, and I could be considered a primary residence? Is that what you consider? Because there wasn't any specific literature I could find anywhere online that clarified.
The bylaw is
Some
very
cities
clear.
say-
All right, well, let me just kind of bring this back here.
Mm-hmm.
You have a homestead exemption on the property in Winchester?
No, I don't think we have a homestead exemption on the property in Winchester.
Okay.
Maybe I have a homestead exemption on a prior residence that I own that I am now renting out. I mean, I can check, but
Well,
That-
I think, ma'am, respectfully, we asked
Yeah.
you what your primary residence was, and you told us it's Winchester. Now you're telling us you own multiple properties and you could have primary residence everywhere, but unfortunately, the law doesn't
But-
allow you to do that. But this,
you asked me a mailing address where you could send correspondence, correct?
well, we're gonna need
And that's-
we're gonna need some proof from you that this is your primary residence.
What proof would you like me to provide?
Some
That's what
proof.
I'm asking.
Well, do you receive mail at this address?
I do.
Okay, what do you receive for mail there?
Bills, real estate tax bills,
Well, that, ma'am,
gas bills, electric bills.
ma'am, this is owned by an LLC, this property.
I'm happy to show you mail that I received that goes directly to Ludo and Michelle Gardini, the owners of the property. We buy all of our properties in LLCs, every single one of them.
Where do you work?
We own our own company.
Where do you work?
We have an office in Waltham. We have an office in Florida. We have an office in Brazil. I mean, we have multiple offices.
We won't go as far as Brazil. So you have an
Okay.
office in Waltham,
We do.
and you live in Winchester.
Part-time, yes.
How often are you in the office in Waltham? How many days a week?
Maybe once, maybe twice a week.
Okay. Then where do you go to the office? Where do you go for work other than that? Once or twice a week?
Well, most of the summer I was working in Cape Cod. I have a home office set up at 68 Horse Pond Road.
Well, shouldn't the driver's license be Yarmouth?
What's your driver's license say your address is?
391 High Street, which is a residence I also own, in Medford, that's now a rental.
That's where you'd vote, right?
Well,
I think the last place I'm registered to vote is probably South Boston, which is
don't
where
worry
I,
about,
yeah, I mean,
I think,
That was-
I think for purposes of what you're telling this board, I don't think we're gonna be convinced that this is your primary residence. And
okay, what
so-
would I need to do to make it my primary residence? Do you want me to change my?
No,
Your
no,
license?
you can.
Consult a lawyer.
You can consult an attorney on that, or whoever you might, but for purposes of what we're doing here tonight, we have to see if you meet the criteria under the bylaw. And the first criteria is it must be your primary residence.
Okay,
And
so
I
could
don't
I
think
have
that-
an extension on this to consult with a lawyer then to figure out what I would need to do to make this my primary residence?
Well, ma'am,
No.
you have had 2 years to straighten this out. The reason that you're here tonight
Because you ignored them.
is because you got a final notice that said that the town was gonna take action against you in a court of law.
Well, in fairness, the reason I'm here tonight is because I'm applying to legalize something that was left in my hands. I could just remove the stove and have never applied for the permit. And then in February, when the new law goes into effect, it's my understanding that I won't need a special permit, or it will be easier to get approved. They're removing the permanent.
The town's going to proceed with action against you. I don't know whether that'll happen before February.
They stopped that. I was here with the building department, they.
Yeah.
That's not our
That's up,
Only if
that's
it
up
goes
to
through
them, that's not our purview.
I'm done.
Okay, so, getting back to, so is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I guess I would like some clarification, since no one has been able to provide that,
What is the
in terms
clarification?
of, on what you consider, what the criteria is for the town of Yarmouth for a permanent resident.
We don't give
because-
that, we don't give that advice out. All we do is we handle special permits and variances when you don't meet the requirements from the building department, or if you're violating the zoning. Back in July 14th of 2022, this town made a determination that you were violating the zoning. You did
Okay.
receive a letter, correct?
I received a fine from the town, if that's
Okay.
Did you pay it?
speaking of.
Did you pay it?
I believe so. I'd have to check with
Well,
I believe all of that's been taken care
Can
of.
I say something real quick? Excuse me.
just one second, we'll give you a minute. Okay, well, you were in violation, and I have the letter in front of me. Would you like me to read you the letter?
I mean, again, I think I've received the letter. I think this is why Alec and I have been working with the building department, about this. And they said to me, listen, here's the option. So we don't go after you. You can either remove the gas stove, or you can simply apply for a permit for this accessory apartment.
And that was 2 years
Which
ago.
made-
No, it's.
Can I say something? I'm
No,
sorry.
that was recently. I've been working with them recently, but I've been talking to Tim Sears the whole time about this.
No, no,
It's
no,
not
that-
like
that-
I've been
that-
ignoring the building department or the,
That's
or the
fine.
violation.
But just so you understand procedurally what we're doing here tonight.
Okay,
You chose not to take out the gas stove. If you took out the gas stove, it's my understanding that you'd be fine, because you wouldn't have cooking
Correct.
facilities. Okay, all right.
and
But
Tim,
you
and
haven't,
Tim.
but you haven't done that, and you don't want to do that. Is that fair to say?
I mean, ideally, I would like to get this approved as an accessory apartment to help my dad out,
So-
because
so-
otherwise.
Okay, wait. So you don't want to take the stove out, so what you did is you filled out an application. Come
Correct.
before us to get a special permit for an accessory apartment pursuant to section 407 of the bylaw.
Correct.
In order for you to get a special permit, you must meet the criteria that's listed in the bylaw, and that's 1 through 14. We have conditions, requirements.
Correct.
Number 1 says that it must be your primary residence. We have heard testimony from you so far tonight that, at least in my mind, you've indicated or demonstrated to us that this building is not your primary residence.
Okay, so my
therefore-
question then.
Wait,
to you-
hold on, wait. And so therefore, at least in my mind, you failed to meet the criteria of the bylaw. So
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to support this petition. So we, at least for me, I don't know how others feel, I'll let them chime in. I think the gentleman to my left, Mr. Neitz, may agree with me on that. So if you don't, then we're gonna have to take a vote here tonight, and it'll either be up or down, whether we think you met the criteria. We'll let you add anything else that you want to, but I think you've failed in number one. That's kind of fatal, at least to this board, if you don't meet at least number one. All right?
Okay.
Variances can't be given out on these, only special permits.
Okay.
So, we understand your situation. Unfortunately, we have a charge from the town, and that's to uphold and interpret the bylaw.
I understand.
And so, here we are tonight. We understand that you've been 2 years in the making, trying to get this thing straightened out. You've been on notice. You are aware that you can be fined up to $300 a day for the violation. It's also my understanding that they've told you that if you remove the gas stove, you don't even have to come before this board. You'll be fine. But you've decided that you want to come here. So here we are tonight. I'm going to let you proceed and tell us anything you want to add.
Okay, I mean, I would just add that, again, my situation is unique in that I have multiple properties and I divide my time up throughout the year at multiple places,
Not unique.
including a home setup office that I have that I work through in the Cape most of the summer, many, many weeks in the fall, and throughout the winter. We spend half of our time there. So I don't really understand how I'm going to prove to you guys that it's my primary residence when I in fact have multiple residences and I have a profession and a job that allows me to move between all of those. So
Michelle,
I'm at a loss here. I'm just trying to help my dad out, who's handicapped, who can't go anywhere else.
Michelle, just so you know, you're not unique. We have a lot of people that have houses
Okay.
down. We have a lot of people that have houses down here that are used part of the year. But, and
Okay.
there are also those that are here and it's their permanent residence. They may have a house
Right.
somewhere else, but this is their legal residence. And what you've
Okay.
what you've told us is it's not your legal residence from what you've described. So if it's not your legal residence, then it doesn't fit our bylaw, and that's all we're trying to explain. So
I
if you-
understand.
If you'd like to,
So-
if you'd like to change that, you could pursue it.
Yes.
You can talk to a lawyer or whoever it might be to find out what it would take to change your legal residence to be Yarmouth. That's all we're trying to explain.
I'm happy to do that, because if it's as simple as, okay, I file my taxes instead of at a business address in Yarmouth or put a homestead exemption on it, I am happy to do that. The town, and maybe you guys can provide some feedback, the building department had mentioned that perhaps if I receive a personal property tax bill there, it's not considered my personal residence, which I do not receive one. I just receive a real estate tax.
I would just suggest you
Bill?
talk to the town clerk. They might be able to tell you what it takes to become a resident.
I can tell you the intent of the bylaw when it was passed by the town meeting was that they didn't want part-time owners in part-time residents to have accessory apartments because they weren't there to supervise the apartment dweller. And
I see.
and that was the intent of the bylaw, not that everybody, you know, there are a lot of people in this town that have 4 or 5 residents around the world. So that's not unusual. But the intent of the bylaw was that you would be a permanent resident and here most of the time. Now, if you went to Florida for a couple of weeks in the winter or something, that would be different. But this is mostly absentee and once in a while here in the summer. So that's not permanent resident, in my opinion.
Okay,
And you're going to have a hard time proving that.
okay.
Just for some
Go ahead, Anthony.
clarity, yeah, just for some clarity here, while we're discussing that, I did, look, you do have a declaration of homestead on the Winchester home,
On 68, okay, on Winchester?
on 32 Everett.
Okay,
Okay. That would be your, you
That's
can
the
only
clincher.
put that on your primary residence.
Okay. I mean, I,
Now,
that's,
when you file your when you file your income tax, what do you use for an address?
296 Newton Street.
That's your personal income tax?
It's a business location.
It's,
The business address.
that's that's our location. Where all of our correspondence goes. It's our business address, because that's where we actually have somebody there to receive documents all the time.
So your tax returns, your personal tax returns say that address on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything says that address, because,
Well-
I mean, again, we get mail all over the place, so we have to centralize it somewhere.
Okay. Well, I think we've pretty much
But I think we
established
cleared this up.
that-
Yeah, I mean-
that,
You're gonna
this
take the stove.
isn't your
Just take the
primary
stove out.
residence.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'll just take the stove out. So for further clarification, then, the new laws that are coming into effect that are taking effect in February 2025, is that my understanding?
you can
Did
talk,
you not-
you can talk to the building department about that. We
Oh,
don't,
okay.
we don't give out advice like that. We,
Oh, I thought
all
it was
we
with
do-
zoning, so,
well,
It's not
it
out.
is. You-
It's not our zoning, it's a state zoning,
State law.
state law.
okay. Okay,
And when it's effective, I don't know. I've
So-
heard February.
So, this is where you're at right now, okay? You have an application for a special permit. Now, we can take a vote, or you can ask to withdraw it without prejudice. I don't think you're going to get a vote that's going to get you the special permit tonight. In fact,
doesn't sound
sure.
like it. So perhaps we just withdraw.
well, you can withdraw it. I do want to caution you that you would not have exhausted your administrative remedies, so you will be subject to $300 fines, and you'll have no right to appeal to a court of law. If we took a vote and you didn't like our decision, you could always appeal it. I don't think you're going to be successful if you appeal it, but
Michelle, may I speak on your behalf?
Yeah, yes, you may,
Sorry,
Alec.
can I say something real quick?
well.
On her behalf, she authorized me.
Well,
Yeah, I
we'll let
get
you
it.
talk, but I'm not sure what
I
you're going to
I mean, I'm here listening to all this. I've been doing construction for 24 years, and I've seen this many times. Michelle and Luda are great friends of mine, and I friendly helped them with the house. They bought this property exactly how it is right now. It's not that they built an illegal apartment on their basement.
saying they did.
Didn't,
I mean, but it seems like it's so difficult, you know, and you're saying that they could pay a fine for $300. They bought this property, had been there for many, many years already, and the town of Yarmouth never did anything about it. I'm just saying that you didn't know about it.
They have sent letters.
No. 2 years now that they purchased the property. They bought it with exactly how it is.
Okay.
So I'm just saying it to you guys for the record,
And,
that
we
the town
appreciate
didn't
that,
do
and-
anything about it for many years. They bought it the way it is, and I think it's unfair to threaten her with saying that
I'm
they're
not-
gonna have to pay $300 in fines and all that.
Well, it's
If the
$300
town,
a day,
if the town
just so
could
you know.
work with them instead of charging them something that was done prior to
All right,
what they
so
purchased. That
thank
was
you
it.
very much for
She doesn't qualify under the bylaw.
I
understand.
We're
I understand.
not trying to argue with you, okay? You're here for a special permit. Doesn't appear that you're going to qualify for that special permit.
And
Is there
the
anything
building
else you'd like to
department
add?
was very fair to all of this. They understood,
You
they said,
can,
yeah.
you can continue to talk with the
Yeah.
building department. That has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
All we do, you're asking for a special permit. Is there anything else you'd like to add, ma'am?
No? I mean, I don't think there's anything else to add. I'm still unclear about if I should withdraw the application or have you guys vote no. But,
Well,
I mean, so you're gonna fine me $300?
I'm
We're
not
not
fining
fining
you anything. That's not our department. The building department, he's the chief zoning enforcement officer, the building commissioner. He's the one who would assess any fines,
Okay,
just so
okay,
you
so
know.
I've worked well with them. I
Well,
have a
then
good
you can
relationship,
continue to-
so. Yeah.
That's great. You can continue to work with them, and if you can work something out with them, that's fine. But we don't think that you've met the criteria for a special permit tonight.
Okay,
So what is your pleasure? Do you want us to take a vote, or would you like to request to withdraw this without prejudice?
So I guess we have no choice but to withdraw it without prejudice, since you guys are indicating the vote will be no, there's really not much I can do.
Well, I'll tell you what, before you do that, I'm gonna poll the board, okay? Instead of taking an official vote, I'm gonna poll the board to see how they feel about this. Anthony, how do you feel about this? Would you support this if it went to a vote right now?
I would not.
Dick?
No.
Jay?
No, I would not.
And I would not. So if we took a vote right now, it would be 0 in favor, 4 against.
And I will vote
So-
against allowing her to withdraw without prejudice, too.
What?
Well, we
I don't have to give
we
a
can have
reason.
it, well, wait a minute. We don't say that yet until there's a request, and then we need to have a motion, needs to be seconded, and then there's discussion on whether we allow it to be withdrawn without prejudice. So it's procedurally. Is that what you wish to do, is request to withdraw without prejudice, ma'am?
I mean, I don't even, now,
This
I'm
is what it
confused on
means.
what,
What it means is, you would not receive a no vote tonight. You would be able to, if it were allowed, you would be able to come back with another petition.
I see.
If we did give you a no vote tonight, you'd be prohibited from coming back for 2 years.
I certainly don't want that to happen. I mean, I don't want to be prohibited from reapplying if I can change the status of my residency and/or if new zoning laws come into effect that make it easier.
Well, they're not into effect right now. We're months away.
They're not,
so-
but is my understanding that they're going to be into effect in February 2025.
I'd be careful
Which is-
about predicting the future.
Yeah, right.
That's what the
ma'am,
building
I-
department told me.
That, again, I appreciate where you're coming from, but what we deal with are these applications, and we have an application in front of us.
I see.
Special permit. I've polled the board, which we don't generally do. Okay?
I appreciate doing that.
You've heard that you do not have the sufficient support to get your special permit. My question to you, would you like us to proceed with a vote?
No.
Or would you like to request that we allow you to withdraw this petition without prejudice?
Yes, I would like to request to withdraw the application without prejudice, please.
Okay. Petitioner has requested that we allow her to withdraw her petition without prejudice. Is anybody prepared to make a motion?
I make a motion to allow her to withdraw without prejudice.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I would second that motion.
Okay. Second to the motion. Discussion on the motion. Anybody prepared to discuss the request to withdraw? And if so,
I think it's the right thing to do, is to give her a chance to go back and find out if she can apply. So, that's my opinion.
okay. Anthony, anything you'd like to comment on about this?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I'm contemplating here because I don't think that you could reapply tomorrow, right? I don't think that circumstances would exist that you could reapply tomorrow. Let me rephrase that. But if all the conditions exist as they are presently today, that we know them so far to be, it wouldn't make a difference. So it'd have to be under completely different action and change of ownership, change of homestead. There's a lot of changes that I would think need to take place before we could consider it and approve. So I
agree.
I don't know.
I agree,
I don't know if
Anthony.
it makes it.
I agree with that, but I just want to give her the chance to go back, talk to building department and make whatever changes she wants to and decide whether she wants to come back. Doesn't mean she will, doesn't mean she'll have
Yeah.
everything she needs, but I'm just willing to give her an opportunity to do that. Now, I know that she may get that's up to them to fine or not, or to give her time or do something, but that's up to her to work out with building.
Right, yeah, and we generally will give time and give deference for people to make those changes. What I was really thinking there, I was thinking probably too much in a legal sense rather than a zoning board member sense of it's almost immaterial if we allow it to withdraw, because we wouldn't be able to approve it anyway, even if it came back. So, but
Well,
that aside,
all it really does is protect her from being able to come back within a 2-year period if we deny it. Now,
under that
in terms
entity.
Yeah, in terms of what exists on the ground right now, she's been in violation for 2 years. So if we allow her to withdraw this without prejudice, basically it's like she never really applied. And so the building department is sitting there with the latest notice with the threat of court action, which may result in fines of up to $300 a day, should they choose to do that. Now, whether they do that or they don't, I have no idea. But she would be exposed to that.
I have a good relationship, if I can
Ma'am,
interject.
ma'am, I'm sorry, the hearing's closed right now.
Oh, sorry.
Hearing's closed, sorry. Yeah. But in terms of allowing her to withdraw without prejudice, generally, we will allow that. Unless, the only time that we will not is if there are multiple hearings on a matter and it takes up a lot of our time, and in the end, it just appears that there may be some bad faith, then we may push it to a vote and not allow it. But this is her first time here, and she does seem unsure about the bylaw, whether she is or she isn't, but I'm not gonna say she is or she isn't. She's represented, she's a little unsure, I'll take her at her word. She's aware she has these violations, she's aware what the violations are, she's been in contact with the building department. The building department has given her options, one of which is to remove a stove. What it may come down to is you remove the stove or you get fined $300 a day. Now, I don't wanna speak for them, but that's what could happen. So whether she wants to go that route and comply building code, which would bring her into compliance, because it would not be considered a habitable dwelling down there without cooking facilities, then she could do that. But if we do allow her to withdraw without prejudice, it would be like she just didn't come here. She could reapply tomorrow, but that doesn't protect her from action. It doesn't stay anything with the building department from proceeding and fining her or bringing her into court and forcing her to comply.
I've made a motion, and it's been seconded.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Any other comment, Anthony? You look like you're thinking there about,
I'll withhold the rest of my comments.
Okay. Dick, I know you were reluctant to allow her to withdraw without prejudice.
I am. I'm not sure that, I'm convinced that she's been forthright in the process, from the beginning of the violation notification through the second notice of violation and until today. And if she were serious about this and did not hire an attorney to represent her, she came here without representation, but I don't think she read the bylaw. And number one in the bylaw is that she be a permanent resident. And that's the intent of the bylaw, is not for people to have 6 residences and bounce around and be here when they choose to be here. It's the residents, the permanent residence is here to supervise the tenant as an accessory apartment.
She didn't understand that. She thought she did. I think she has the right to have a chance to make it work.
I think she's had a lot of time,
Yeah?
and I cannot vote to continue
Any further
or
discussion?
to withdraw without
Yeah,
prejudice.
only to Dick's point, I'm I'm fairly certain her husband's an attorney. He's an immigration attorney, but my understanding that, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that you understand the ins and outs of zoning and land use, but
Then he knows he should have hired an attorney, maybe, more than anybody.
Well, that's neither here nor there right now, but,
So do we vote?
any further comments, gentlemen? All those in favor of allowing the petitioner to withdraw her petition without prejudice, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anthony?
sorry, aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay, it carries 3-1. That petition to withdraw is allowed. It merely requires a majority to, it doesn't need a supermajority to withdraw. It merely requires a majority vote. So you are allowed to, your petition has been withdrawn without prejudice. I would suggest to you that you get back with the building department and try to figure this out, okay? So you do not get yourself fined. The last thing the town of Yarmouth wants to do, not only their residents, their full-time residents or their part-time residents, is subject them to daily fines for zoning violations. They don't like to do that, they don't want to do that, but given the number of correspondence that you've received from the building department, and the last one stating that there's gonna be some pending court action against you, you could be subject to fines of up to $300 a day. So you are on notice of that, not only through this letter, but by this board. You understand that? Is that a yes, ma'am? You lost your mic?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much. Yep.
Thank you.
Michelle, just so you know, there is a violation in here on the Conservation Department too, so you might want to make sure you follow up on that too.
I'm working with conservation with Brittany
Okay.
Okay,
on everything. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Can I just say something? I didn't want to interrupt because this is like on the side, but this is a letter that was sent to you yesterday.
We got that.
You did. I wanted to know.
We did.
And the
If,
photographs.
if the matter had gone forward, okay,
Then
we
you
would have
had-
taken
I
all of
had a
this into
feeling, that's why I
consideration.
said that. She's
Yes.
at a funeral. Her
Okay.
father-in-law died,
That-
so I was just
okay.
here as a friend.
No,
Okay.
procedurally, it didn't go forward because she
You
didn't
guys
meet the
were great.
criteria. Okay, all right.
You guys were great.
right.
There were many more issues too.
Okay, well, we're not going to take those up tonight, but thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 22nd.
We have a second? To approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Three of us were here.
3 of us were here, okay, that's enough. All those in favor to approve the minutes?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
3-0, they pass. Is that the only minutes we have?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.